Welcome back to The Donkey,
And the bee.
where men are jackasses,
And women are biatches.
where we work together to build an extraordinary life.
Tune in to up your game in your marriage, entrepreneurship, and finances. Welcome back to another episode of The Donkey and the Bee with your host, Brett and Laura Chotkevys. We got the jackass, we got the biatch. Today we are talking once again about finances because we love talking about that.
We're talking about making a huge financial goal for yourself or for your spouse and your family. When we first got into the entrepreneurship game, we were coming out of waiting tables and we didn't know much about finances, but we knew that we were broke. We knew that we were living paycheck to paycheck, and we just had our first daughter, maybe second daughter around that time. Mm-hmm. And we wanted a certain lifestyle, and we weren't seeing it being slaves to the rat race that we were in. And so we started educating ourselves. We actually read this book right here, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and went through the activity in there to create a goal for ourselves, a financial goal, and really a big, scary financial goal that didn't really make sense to us at the time.
I remember making this goal, and at the time we shared it with our friends. I don't know if you remember this or not.
I do.
I was really embarrassed to share the goal. I think you probably felt the same. And I think the outcome of that was exactly what we expected. And I think that's why we really didn't want to share the goal with them in the beginning, because it was kind of like why would you have that big of a goal? Or, you're never going to make that much money. Or it was a negative response. And so I think that's originally why we didn't want to say it in the first place. And so we're here to tell you that if you have a massive goal, and you will after you listen to this podcast today, that if you have a big, massive goal financially, please put it in the comments below on this podcast, or just shout it out somewhere so that we can see it, so that we can be the two people that are encouraging you toward that.
So everyone's going to have their own kind of goals in life, right? And we were at this stage of life where we were not making much money and had belief in ourselves. We were building confidence, right? We were just started our first business, and we're making decent money, but we had the potential, and we had the energy, and we had the faith in ourselves to be able to push hard and do something big. And so we decided to make a big financial goal, but everyone's financial goal is going to be different, right? Everyone's going to have a big why to it. So for us, we wanted to see how great we could do at this thing, right? We are business people, and I think as a result of your success or failure in business, you can look at your profit and loss statement. It's like the scoreboard. So for me personally, it was not like I wanted a massive yacht and houses across the world. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to show and prove to myself that I could build something great. And I think that money or profit in your business is kind of a direct correlation to that. So I come at it from this perspective. If you think, I want to make a huge financial goal, but I'm not a money-driven person. I'm not a money-driven person either. I don't spend very much money at all. But you know what? I am a success-driven person. And I think that the best way to judge my success, at least on business, is how much money does my company make? It's so much harder to judge the other things, right? The other core values and the integrity and the relationships in the business. I can't really put a number to that, but I can look at my P&L and say, my net profit this year was this. And that is so much more clear to be able to judge how great or how good we're doing at our business. So there's a couple practical steps there that I want to lay out if you're going to create your own financial goal. So the first is an exact amount of money. Don't say I'm going to be a multimillionaire, right? Like, how many multis is it, right? Is it 2? Is it 100? Be specific. What is that exact number of net worth or income per year that you want to have? All right, the second is determine exactly what you're going to give for this. What are you going to trade, right? Is it your time? Is it your attention? Is it your energy? Is it your resources? What are you going to do in exchange for this monetary goal that you have? And third, what is your timetable? When is the exact date that you will have this money by?
So as an example for this, because I know that hearing those things, you're like, okay, that sounds great, but what does it sound like? So we have ours here. If you're on the YouTube version, you see that we have the goal paper here. If you are listening on any podcasts, then you don't actually see it, but you are going to listen to it now. Here is our goal. This was written how many years ago? Gosh, 10?
Yeah,
10
about
years
10
ago?
years ago.
About 10 years ago, right? About a decade ago. I will have a net worth of more than 200 million by 2043. And this was by the time you were 60. In order to achieve this goal, I will give my time, energy, desire, creativity, and finances. In the process, I will overcome an immeasurable amount of failures. Brett is literally lipping it as I'm saying it. He's right across from me and totally distracting me, just so you know. He's saying it alongside me. To achieve this goal, I will build a business that is comprised of people who operate on a consistent set of systems. So that was the goal. That was the goal that we shared with our friends. That was the goal that a lot of people laughed at. That was the goal that was even scary for us to even say. And now we look back and we're like, wow, it's not even big enough now. We got to make it bigger.
Well, I'll tell you how we came to this goal is, again, we were brand new to this space and not making a lot of money at the time. We were having our first business, a house flipping company, and we were getting good traction there, right? So we asked ourselves, okay, what's the biggest number we can think of? It was a stretch goal, right? It was like, what's just some crazy number? And it was $100 million, right? That's what my first thing was, like, all right, let's make this goal 100 million. And I'm like, nah, I should double it. Okay, cool, let's make it 200 million. And it was just really an arbitrary number, right? And I mean, back then, what do you think the chances were that we believe we'd actually hit 200 million?
None. We thought
0.1 or something.
Like 500,000 was a lot to us, back then.
Yeah.
And so the thought of even $1 million was a lot, let alone 200 million. I mean,
right.
It was kind of like that'd be great.
Right.
Kind of thing.
So I gave ourselves a date by the year that I would turn 60. So we have 19 more years. That we would have a net worth of more than 200 million, and that we would give our time, energy, attention, all of those things to be able to do it, to build a business comprised of systems. And so if you're thinking, well, you know what, do I just create this arbitrary goal? I mean, yeah, that was really our why. I didn't have a $200 million yacht that I was trying to buy. I didn't have it on my vision board or something, right? Like, I don't spend a lot of money. And so it was just like, well, whatever it is, right? Let's just throw out some arbitrary number just to excite us and encourage us. And as we progressed into business, business is hard, and we got our butt kicked within, I want to say, maybe 2 years of our first business. We had a bunch of drama and a bunch of crap and a bunch of people that fell apart. And we got to a place where, like, I was so discouraged and disheartened that I actually released this goal, that I stopped saying it to myself. I stopped believing it. I did not think it was possible. I didn't think we were going to, we would become millionaires, but not, maybe not even 10 or 20, or at least definitely not 200 millionaires. And so I think it's okay to have a stretch goal that you're going to push towards. And then honestly, it's okay when you fall and you fail and you get your butt kicked and you give up on your goal. There's gonna be times in business where it's just like, I just don't believe in myself right now. And there was a season of several years where we just felt and discouraged, but we just kept going.
I'd have to say for myself, I probably gave up that goal multiple times. I think more than you. I think, he had a moment in our house flipping business that he gave up on that. I did too. But then there was also multiple other businesses that we created in between what we currently have. And I think within each business, to be completely frank with you, I gave up the goal because, man, you just get beat down so much in business, and you get let down by people in your company, and you just, COVID happened, like things happen, right? And you get so discouraged because you think, gosh, I have this massive goal. I promised myself I was going to do it. I'm the type of person who keeps promises to myself. And here I am, like, I can't keep this promise to myself. And so I think that alone is more discouraging than the business hardship, to be completely honest. It's like this, we keep the promises to each other and to ourselves. And so just going through those real dark times in business was something that is inevitable and something that's really builds our character and has made us who we are today. But I think when you're in the midst of it, all you see is defeat and all you see is the smoke, and you can't see past your own self. And it's hard to still keep your eyes on that goal in the midst of those things?
Well, what the difference is we just kept going, right? There was no W-2 job we were going to go back to. We were making good money, right? We had hardships for sure, but we never got to the place where we ran out of money. And we got through a couple close situations where we were pretty close on some of these times, but we just kept trucking along. And the difference was we never stopped growing. We never stopped investing in ourselves. We never stopped looking for the next opportunity. When we had one door closed, we were just searching, where is this door going to open? And then we kept finding people who would pour into us. We paid coaches and mentors and masterminds and things like that. We continued to invest in ourselves, and we continued to get better and better, not at the same thing that we were doing, but multiple other things, right? From marketing to sales to social media to finance and all these other things that made us more round, made us more mature business people, that the next time an opportunity came about, it was not the same size opportunity. We could now do more. We could carry more. We could do bigger deals. We could do deals now that we couldn't even comprehend back then. And so now it's like, well, I now picked this goal back up. It was actually our fourth business. So we brought it in on our first, got discouraged. We trucked through a couple different other things, right? Second and third, really didn't pick it up. I didn't still believe that I could have a net worth of $200 million during that. It was our fourth company that we started. And it was just because the opportunity was there. We had started some other businesses. They were making good money, but the marketplace was moving against us and other things like that were just, we weren't at the right time and opportunity in the market. And so our fourth company, it's just like perfect. We're right here. We have the systems and the people and the opportunity, and we're in the right place at the right time to be able to grow and scale and do all of that. And so we picked it back up a few years ago. And now to the point where we look at this and it's 200 million, it's like, man, that's too small, right? Like we're not at 200 million now, but you know what? It's not that far off the way we're compounding. I mean, I haven't definitively said, hey, here's a new number for me that I'm pushing towards, but I know that it's higher than this $200 million number.
You said something there that I want to reiterate. And we've talked about this lots of times before in podcasts past. Compounding skills, I think, is something that most people don't think about when they're in their W-2 job, putting their head down, just grinding and doing that one skill set every day, right? You get hired on to do HR. Then all you're doing is HR. The whole entire time is doing HR. You're down your lane. You're not really building on other skills in other areas. And I think compounding skills is so vital in order to achieve a goal like this. I mean, there's so many things that we do on a daily basis that we learn about that we're like, why am I learning this? Like for instance, I'm learning like these like camera systems and all sorts of like Wi-Fi integrations and whatever, all these things that I don't know anything about. And I'm researching. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I researching this stuff? But then I'm able to help other people who are also kind of researching these same topics. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is the reason why I'm doing this. I'm helping myself, then I'm also helping other people. So I'm compounding on my skills in order to achieve the goal that we were headed toward. And so I think it's important to not just base your one skill set on everything and just rely on that one skill set. Like if you're working on one skill set, why not work on another one as well so you can compound on those throughout your lifetime? So I just wanted to reiterate the importance of compounding your skills. Another thing to add on top of that is, again, talked about this prior, your money mindset. I think if you have a broken money mindset or you have a negative correlation toward money based on the way you were raised or whatever you were taught about money, I think hearing this of a net worth of 200 million, like that's something that you probably have a negative association toward because you have a broken money mindset. So I would encourage you to really think about your personal money mindset and if you have a negative correlation toward money and toward having wealth. And that was something that we both had to work on. And it took years for me to kind of rewire my brain on that wealth is not bad. Making money is not bad. That wanting money is not bad. And so we did a lot of reading on money. We did a lot of listening to other people's podcasts, other people's experiences and journeys toward building wealth for me to finally have a positive money mindset. And so that's something that I would also encourage people to do is to, read the books that we talk about on this podcast, listen to other people's podcasts who also talk about money and finances, and having a really wealth-driven money mindset. And again, this is not for us to just we're like Ducksworth or something, swim in our coins. That's not what it's about. We're about the game of it because it's fun, but also we're about utilizing and capitalizing on that money to be able to help others.
Definitely. So as you're going through this activity, and if you have not created a financial goal for yourself, I would definitely do that. And don't start small, right? Don't say, oh, I want to have $1 million, right? That's not enough. $1 million was half of what it was worth 5 years ago with inflation, right? Shoot for the stars. So hopefully you hit the moon, right? Give yourself 10 times at least what you think you need and write that down. Decide when you're going to have it by, what will you do to get it, and read that to yourself every morning when you wake up, every night before you go to bed, and get yourself excited about it. What is the why behind it? Who can you help? What people, aside from yourself, can you make a difference with in their life by having this money? And then just go after it and take massive action.
Well, thank you for joining us on another episode of The Donkey and the Bee. We will see you on the next one.